He's the first one-day international at the Steel City, Jamshedpur, followed by Nagpur, Rajkot, Ahmedabad, Baroda, the three venues, Rajkot, Ahmedabad, Baroda, the western region of India. And then to Jodhpur, the central part. And of course the last one, Vijayawada, in the southern part of the country. So the full tour of the nation in the next 3 weeks. And all that cricket will come again live to you, ball by ball, on Doordarshan.
I suppose that's if we all survive, Sanjay.
We'll try and take best possible care of you, Mikey. We should get to young Parthiv Patel had to put in a little bit of extra energy as he looked to complete the second.
That wrist again, that bottom hand. So good with that BBS Latchman. Get the sprint on, Parthiv. Made it.
The lead now 172 runs, 64 overs remaining in the day. Just after lunch, after the dismissal of Tendulkar, there was some speculation, guesses were made that India might just press in the declaration and set a tempting target for West Indies, but that doesn't seem to be the case. Had that been going on in the mind of Saurav Ganguly, he would have perhaps sent Harbhajan Singh or Srinath in place of Parthiv Patel. And the way these two have approached the innings in the last 15-20 minutes or so, no indication at all of a declaration coming.
In theory, I think it sounds good, Sanjay, to think of declaring and setting the West Indies that tempting target, trying to win the test match. But I think Saurav Ganguly realizes that on this surface, it's not going to be easy getting 10 wickets in half the day. You just might see a sporting declaration a bit later on because they've already won the test series and test matches.
I completely agree with you. Good in theory, good for all of us to watch an exciting test match. A declaration might bring some interest into the match. But the man who has to make the decision has to take all possibilities, and as you mentioned, 2 up in the series. In theory it sounds very nice, but one will have to say that if Ganguly doesn't really look to press a declaration, it will be understandable. Straight drive yet again. Didn't quite time it. 312 for 5.
और आप फोन करती रहना. बाय.
कौन सा?
नबीला. अब वो बर्मिंघम में है.
BT टुगेदर से सिर्फ 18.50 प्रति माह चुकाने से, जिसमें लाइन रेंटल भी शामिल है, आप शाम और वीकेंड की UK कॉल्स बिल्कुल मुफ्त में कर सकते हैं.
रोशन.
वही ना जो तुम्हारा पुराना
दोस्त हुआ करता था.
अब तक तो शायद वो एक मोटा और खड़ूस आदमी बन गया होगा.
क्यों? तुमसे शादी नहीं की क्या?
BT आपके लिए क्या कर सकते हैं, ये जानने के लिए BT एशियन हेल्पलाइन को मुफ्त में फोन करें.
Yuvraj Singh and other younger one-day players coming here, spending some time with the test team before going on to Jamshedpur.
Darren Powell is certainly doing a good job here today. Had a very impressive spell with the new ball. Avish Ashra said during his stint on commentary that it would be unlikely, or in his books at any rate, that Cameron Coffey will be getting the new ball in the near future after this performance from Darren Powell. I think them quicker men, Lawson and Powell, should have been the ones getting the new ball with the main man Mervyn Dillon. Should have been Dillon and one of those two, and then Cameron Coffey following, but Hooper elected to use Cameron Coffey on both occasions with the new ball, both innings. The theory, Sanjay, is that young fast bowlers need to earn that new ball. Don't have a serious problem with that if the two men that are sharing a new ball are doing a very effective job. Don't think it could ever be said by any stretch of the imagination that Cameron Coffey has done an effective job with the new ball throughout his career. He hasn't bowled badly, has been quite economical, but I think you need to give the men a bit of pace, that early, hard, shine ball.
And it was such an important decision this morning after the new ball was taken, or rather with the old ball itself, when Carl Hooper and Merv Dillon started the proceedings, and the first change that was made was Coffey replacing Merv Dillon. But just going back to Jermaine Lawson, who played in the last test match, Chennai, very impressive, and the speed also was there, but somehow in this test match hasn't looked quick enough, or maybe because Powell is bowling with him, who is definitely the quicker of the two, hasn't looked as quick or potentially as he did in Chennai.
I agree with you there totally. Hasn't looked as sharp here as he did in Chennai. Don't think he has enjoyed bowling from the pavilion end in this test match. Every time he has bowled from the pavilion end, he certainly seems to not to be as fluent running in. Oh, not carrying. Not enough pace on this pitch, as we have seen.
May have been the bottom edge of the bat. Not one to take a big stride forward. Parthiv Patel very much on the crease. No, in fact, it was the outside edge, the bottom part of the bat, or the lower half of the bat, and as a result, not carrying to the wicket-keeper. But again, that last delivery by Pal was close to 140. That's been the heartening sign. He's looked to bowl quick in this inning. Darren Pal. 313 for 5. VVS Lakshman carrying on with his job. He's batting on 73. Jermaine Lawson, one slip in position. Sweeper cover will cut that off.
We're just talking about what the emphasis might be at the moment, Sanjay. I think perhaps the emphasis at the moment is all on VVS Lakshman and him getting to 3 figures. I think this test match is approaching what you would say is a draw. I'm not absolutely sure, it's test cricket. But I think at the moment, the way the India are playing, that is the focus. Can Lakshman get another century? We're talking about Jermaine Lawson and Darren Powell, and Darren Powell showing so much pace. He has shown pace. What is also very good about Darren Powell is that he has also shown control. He hasn't sprayed the ball all over the park, which is very, very good. And my good friend, former fast bowling partner, Andy Roberts, has been talking about this young man for some time. And they have been very keen to see him coming into the West Indies team. I'm sure Andy is sitting somewhere in Antigua, or perhaps he's sleeping at this time, and saying, I told you, I told you.
Good timing on that occasion by Parthiv Patel. And this is not the first glimpse of the batting talent that we've seen from Parthiv Patel.
And the surprise, what is the scoring shot? It's a short ball and he goes back and punches it through the offside. Plays to his strengths, though, Parthiv Patel. And that is what you need to do as a cricketer, whether you're batting or bowling. You play to your strengths. Whatever you're very good at, you stick to that and hopefully develop from there.
So now, because Parthiv Patel is so strong in that area, they've got a sweeper cover very square on the offside. So completely on the defensive now, West Indies. Parthiv Patel has just moved on to double figures. He's batting on 11. He's got a sweeper cover. So he plays it fine and will test the third man fielder. Darren Powell in the middle of a spell, but quite nimble on his feet.
He's a fit young man, Darren Powell. Does a lot of training. So although he's in the middle of the spell, he'll still be sprinting around the outfield. Perhaps he needed to try and get both hands down, but in the end he prevented it from going past. Still enjoying his cricket.
Bowled a couple of balls in the last over, Darren Powell in the 140s. He continues to put everything into it. 320 for a white ball signal. Hang on. Let's not get too hasty here. 321 for 5, but that was a white ball signal.
Something just seemed to go totally wrong with the action there from Jermaine Lawson.
Second miss in a row. 321 for 5. Well, one of the young cricketers trying the top spinner. You see a lot of off-spinners, young off-spinners, trying to do what they see on television. The one with the back to us was looking to bowl the top spinner in the off-spinners action. That was a leg spinner on that last occasion. But plenty of wrist work on display there.
I hope they don't try and copy everything they see on television as far as bowling actions are concerned.
They were not as happy and relaxed when the play started this morning. A lot more tense faces there in the crowds. That has changed with Tendulkar and VVS Lakshman taking India to some safety, or you can say safety now. What an innings it's been of application from VVS Lakshman, a strike rate of just 31.8 for a batsman who is naturally attacking. Required a lot of restraint, self-restraint to keep going without really worrying too much about the scoring. But having said that, he is one batsman who has played the big innings, even at local level. He's used to getting the triple hundreds. He's got 2 triple hundreds at the first class level. So he's a batsman who doesn't mind staying there on the field for long periods of time. And of course 281 doesn't need reminding. That was in test matches. Ramnaresh Sarwan on the field with a third man.
Takes a lot of concentration to get 281 runs at test match level, and he certainly did it. So he is capable of batting for long periods of time. I see the little master. We found his weakness again, those 170s.
VVS Lakshman, of course, has played marathon innings. Tendulkar might want to do something like that. His highest score not as high as VVS Lakshman's, 281 versus Australia. In his last outing on this very ground. .324 for 5.
Download videos and tracks from your favourite artists. Keep up to date with your favourite teams. Play without any interruptions. BT Broadband. For details, visit bt.com or call 0800 800 060.
A very reasonable lead now. 185 runs. The 109 overs grind for the West Indian bowlers after a long day in the field for the Indian bowlers. There's still some cricket left.
Well, we've heard on so many occasions that VVS Lakshman is so good against spin bowling, and we have seen it. But have a look at his highest scores, the countries that he has made those runs against. Australia, they have Shane Warne, yes, but they are not really that well known for spin bowling. The West Indies, similar situation. And South Africa, all countries that have produced a lot of fast bowlers. So he's not too bad against them either. Just a good all-round cricketer. A very good player.
He should look for two, but he'll only look for two because the fielder is very alert. Wavell Hines, sweeper cover. He has the ability to play those memorable innings, VVS Lakshman, if at all he can find some fault or an area of improvement for him. It's in the area of consistency, and that's the reason, because he's not as consistent as he would like to be. The batting average is a bit of a letdown when you look at the scores. The 281, Wisden has put it down as one of the 10 greatest innings ever played in Test match cricket. Here it is. It's at the 6th position. The best innings ever played in Test match cricket. And of course, Mikey, a huge controversy and uproar really when that list was announced. Last year, I think I was there at the press conference, and Sachin Tendulkar didn't figure in the top 100 innings that the Wisden came out with at that time. So that created quite a controversy and some agitation from the Indian supporters.
It would be very interesting to find out the criteria that they have used to judge those innings. I would love to know who told them about the one in 1898.
Yes, it was a time where in the scorebook you would also not have balls taken to score that many runs. Now you have all kinds of details in the scorebook, but I'm sure in 1898 that is one vital statistic that would not be available to the men. But they have taken all parameters possible. I did a bit of a look into how they came up with the list. Match-winning performances, batting performances given a lot of importance, pitch conditions, days of the test matches, bowling attack, overseas home factor. Can't get it absolutely right, but throws up another area for discussion. Nicely struck. But good fielding as well.
Well fielded. Wavell Hines in the extra cover position.
.325 for 5. The run rate exactly 2 in this session. Yeah, during the course of the last over, just having a look at the top innings played. And Wisden came out with their 10 greatest innings. And Michael Holding, of course, mentioned that particular innings by C. Hill from Australia, played in 1898. And I have the scorecard right in front of me of that particular match, Mikey. Here it is, 323 all out in the first innings, Australia. And C. Hill came in at number 3, 188. I'm sure in the end Australia must have won the match. Yet they won by 8 wickets. So Dinar Gupta has got each and every match played in Test cricket in his laptop, which has taken a bit of a beating over the years.
.188 out of 323. That's a pretty high percentage of the runs scored. I'm sure Dinner will be able to show us a few test matches that the one George Headley played in as well, because when he played for the West Indies, he used to score a high percentage of the runs that the West Indies made as well. That's why they used to nickname him Atlas. Carried the entire West Indies team on his shoulders. In the Caribbean, Sanjay, we never referred to Headley, as some people say, as the Black Bradman. Bradman was the White Headley.
High percentage of runs was his greatness. George Headley, exactly what Sachin Tendulkar has done in this particular test match. Another 4 for VVS Lakshman. Streaky, but welcome. It's been a while since the boundaries have come for VVS Lakshman as he inches closer to his test 100.
Fortune favours the brave. And of course, with Lakshman batting so well and India doing so well, Carl Hooper couldn't afford to keep on having all these slips in place. And so the vacant slip, play a couple of shots, the edges will fly into empty areas, and the more runs for Lakshman.
Yeah, back to that match of 1898 from the laptop of Dinar Gupta. It now is on your screen there. You can see C. Hill at number 3, 188 out of a total of 323. Batting first with one Mr. Hearn, Hearne, taking 6 wickets for 98. But the second essay for Mr. Hill wasn't too good. Out for a duck in the second innings. So after one of the greatest innings ever played in the first innings, the game continued to be a great leveler even in those days, getting a duck in the second innings. Mr. Hill. And he's the man whose laptop provided us all the information. I'll just find out whether he was watching that match. I think that smile says no. .329 for 5.
Welcome back to the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Drinks just been taken. India 190 ahead, so still no signs of a declaration. Sachin Tendulkar out since lunch for 176. BVS Lakshman, he's on 82. India leading by 190. Still 58 overs remaining. Patel turns that around. He'll get only a single. And I wonder what your thoughts are. Arun reckons Saurav Ganguly will throw the bait at the West Indians because the light seems to be dropping here. So we say 58 overs remaining, but very rarely over the last 3 or 4 days have we seen the full quota of overs bowled.
Indeed, Ravi, I don't think they can get in more than 45 overs in the day. Now that must be the overs that they should be calculating on. And talking to him in the morning, he was feeling that 200 would be the target that he'd want to set. But obviously since then things have changed, and he's realized, as the team may have possibly realized, that just about 50 odd overs is not enough to get the West Indies out. So they're not leaving them many chances to win. Only chances to lose or draw if he declares. Now that's probably the thinking now. Otherwise it's inexplicable that they're not going for the runs. They can't lose from here. Normally if there was a declaration on the card, they should have been going for it. But that's not the case. So it's obvious that they don't want to lose this game, and they've decided that they really can't win it. I would have been a lot happier seeing a declaration, especially the way Sachin started. He put them into a position where they could really have gone for that 200 closer to lunchtime, maybe 10-15 minutes after lunch, and then we would have had a game on our hands. But that wasn't to be.
Yes, the other way to look at it is Saurav Ganguly might be saying that this wicket still is a good one, and it really requires some poor batting on the part of a side to be bowled out in 3 hours, 3.5 hours. It's been a long season for the Indians. They've been playing Test cricket right from the beginning of the year. In fact, right from September last year, it's been literally non-stop cricket.
Rather cool Ganguly there. I don't think they've got a declaration on their minds, Ravi. Nobody seems to be in whites. There were some few tense faces yesterday before Sachin actually played that magnificent innings. Very, very tense faces yesterday. They're a lot more relaxed now.
You can see he's looking at the light as well. It's dropped dramatically. The lights at the ground will take effect shortly.
It's never been possible to play beyond 430, 440. Every day the light fades very, very rapidly. And with this haze, kind of a cloud cover, even at 4 o'clock it becomes a problem. I think that's what Saurav was also looking at.
This play was called off for the day yesterday at 3:51 local time. So 49 minutes before the scheduled close. 3:31 for 5. 3:31. Big crowd here today. See the bowling card. Carl Hooper's tried everything. Try and get some wickets. That partnership between Tendulkar and Lakshman kept the West Indian bowlers at bay. Mervyn Dillon, the best of the lot, 2 for 85. Chris Gayle now getting another opportunity.
I don't know, I'm still of the opinion that they could have tried putting the West Indies under some kind of pressure. It was obvious that the West Indies had sort of given it up. They were trying to slow the over rate down for a while, sensing that they could be put under some pressure. But like you say, the Indians just not interested, knowing that the conditions haven't deteriorated as much as to expect to bowl them out within 3 hours' time. That's the appeal. When you stick your foot out so far down, it's very difficult to get an LBW decision.
Yes, but just reflecting on this series, Arun, I think a lot of positives to have come out for India. They won the series comfortably. Zahir Khan did an extremely good job. But for me, the biggest plus is the wicket-keeping department, which was a problem area for India for many, many years. I think that just seems to be permanently solved for the moment.
Undoubtedly, and what a prospect. This young cricketer. Got tremendous footwork, tremendous powers of concentration, and the temperament. He's not fazed by anything. Just look at the confidence he exudes when he comes into bat. And for somebody so young, it's really, really heartening to see.
That's edged in past them. Just got the feeling first slip was too wide. Chandrapal there.
Yes, indeed. For an off-spinner, you want him very, very fine. The edges go just past the keeper. He got a hand to it, but not his palm. It probably hit his wrist and just bounced off.
Yes, you see now for the left-hander, Chandrapal can go a little wider at slip. But if a right-hander is on strike, this is the line where normally you'll see one of the legs of the slip fielder touching. That should be your guideline. I just got the feeling he was a little too wide on that occasion, because the ball, if it takes the edge, will go a little finer. If a leg spinner or left arm spinner is bowling to a right-hander, then you tend to go a little wider, as Chandrapal has gone now with a left-hander in strike.
Hooper's not in any hurry to get the overs through. He's also relaxed, because although there is a necessary amount of overs that have to be bowled, a mandatory amount of overs that have to be bowled, but light permitting, and he knows that the longer he takes, the lesser chance for him to be put in under any pressure at all.
.331 for 5.
Those are the positives. That's the batting for India in this series. Bangar blunting all attack. pretty effective at the top. Sehwag as his flamboyant best, 286. Dravid got 100 in the first innings he played, and then is sort of petered out. Tendulkar 306 runs. Dravid also very, very unlucky with decisions in this series, in this match, on both occasions. But look at Ganguly, he must be a frustrated man. Just 49 runs there. He'll be wondering what he can do to get favor of the umpires. VVS Lakshman 201. He's played some effective innings too. But the positives are at the top of the order. Bangar had blunted the initial attack. He's been very effective as an opening batsman. Just felt at times that he got bogged down and played too much within himself. Very defensive, allowing the bowling to get on top. To begin with, he's the ideal foil for an attacking new ball bowler. But later he must get his act together. Best of 77, but Sehwag 147. Now he's the man who's very, very dangerous. The day he gets going, he can really scatter the opposition to all parts of the ground, hitting at their confidence, at their morale. And of course the majestic Tendulkar. What an innings today.
And 332 for 5. And Sarun, we talked about the Indian team, but I think we should dwell a little more on the West Indian team, because they're a team on the way up. Plenty of changes, a lot of youngsters have come in. The one-day series is coming up. I think the performance in this test match should do their confidence a world of good for the one-day game, because there will be a strong side in the one-day competition. He's a definite star for the future. There's no doubt about it. Marlon Samuels, a classy player. Wavell Hines, the left-hander from Jamaica, has also come good on this trip. Got a good 100. See the Hines getting 220 runs. Chandrapal, of course, is one of the backbones of this West Indian batting lineup. Carl Hooper would be disappointed with the series he had. I think the positives for me is Marlon Samuels, Wavell Hines. Of course, Chris Gale would have learnt a lot on this trip. And the two young fast bowlers, Lawson and Powell.
Absolutely, Ravi. Chandrapal, there he is. He's always been effective against the Indians. But like you say, Hines, Gale, and of course, Samuels. Now, that has been a revelation. He not only has had that innings, but he's convinced one and all that he's got it in him to be a success at this level. He's got the technique, the temperament. Very, very talented young players. So that is a big positive for the future. If they could get somebody like him in the middle order, that really sets this team up for the future. And like you said, the two fast bowlers, Lawson and Powell, they would be a great asset. They're quick, they're enthusiastic, and they can really turn things around for the West Indies in the future. It's 331 for 5.
तुम अपनी पसंद का खाना खाओ, मैं कुछ कॉल्स करके आई।
ये BT टुगेदर के मुफ्त शाम और वीकेंड के UK कॉल्स का पूरा फायदा उठा रही है।
बेटे बस एक और।
हेलो।
मिस्टर गुप्ता।
It's 333 for 5.
मुझे नहीं मालूम मुझे क्या।
.339 for 5. Chris Gale continuing. You're talking of Sachin Tendulkar earlier. Just have a look at that chart. Runs all round the wicket. Lovely cuts and drives. Nice flicks on the onside as well. Ball.
He's got 18 of those boundaries on the offside as opposed to just 8 on the onside. So he really packs a punch on the offside, getting those boundaries.
Ball.
but it's almost an even spread of runs. So he's clipping them for ones and twos on the onside, but really working the boundaries with his cuts and drives.
Ball France.
Well, the lead 200. It's a little surprise Sourav Ganguly has not decided to throw the bait at the West Indies. Still 53 overs remaining, and it's not easy to maintain a run rate over 3.5 runs per over on this surface.
Come on.
339 for 5. .339 for 5. India leading by 201, and to tell you more in the commentary box, Maninder Singh and Danny Morrison.
Thank you, Ravi. Indians now 201 runs ahead. There was a thought that Sourav Ganguly might just give a target of 200, 220 for the West Indians. But I'm sure he's going to give Lakshman time to score his 100. He's 11 short of his 100, batting on 89. Batted well, VVS Lakshman. The West Indian bowlers, fast bowlers, not bowling with the real speed. Powell bowled the last delivery at 127 kilometers per hour. Not much left in this game, really. Danny?
No, there's not. And I said that earlier in the day, and I think the opportunity was missed early on. They had to take those catches, those little opportunities with Hooper opening up from the far end, bowling his off spinners. Those runs off the top edge sweep and through the gap and what have you, from the men around the blade when Hooper was on. And the West Indies, they really had to strike in that first hour of play here on day 5. And Sourav Ganguly, well, he's not going to declare as he's really going to give, as you say, Maninder, VVS Lakshman, who has been patience personified. It's a very gutsy, unselfish innings to play with the way he did with Tendulkar. And now getting some good support from Parik Patel. Deserves 100.
Yes, it has been a slow innings from VVS Lakshman. He loves to get on with the game normally, but he realized that he needed to stay at the wicket, and Sachin Tendulkar was going great guns, so he gave him good support. Sachin Tendulkar got out for 176. He's getting into a bad habit of getting out in the 170s. This is the 5th time in Test match cricket he's got out in the 170s.
Not a bad habit to get though, is it? 5 times in the 170s at 193 and a couple of double hundreds for Sachin Tendulkar. It's just a crazy old game. You talk about things, you try and preempt stuff that possibly a captain's doing. You talk about a bowler trying to do something with his strategy, and then you chat about a batsman who's got out, and you bring these graphics up that show when he's got out here and there. And Ravi Shash and himself were on prior to lunch and discussed exactly that, Maninder. And lo and behold, lunch break again, break and play. Does the trick. Another over completed here at Eden Gardens, 3:40 for 5.
The Indians lead by 201 now. It's going to be Chris Gale to continue. He's been an asset to the Indian side. Very promising youngster. He's kept well, batted well. Seems to have a very cool head on his shoulders. Scored 47 in the first innings. Batting on 17 now. Got 21 not out at Mumbai. At Chennai he got 23. He's improving with every game.
Precisely, Manny. I think one of our co-commentators, Ian Bishop from Trinidad, he I think went as far as to say on air that he felt this young man is probably the best gloveman at the moment in world cricket. He's up against Adam Gilchrist. Adam Perori's retired. He was highly respected, the Kiwi gloveman. Retired there after 78 test matches, Adam Perori. And Boucher is pretty useful, but he stands mainly back to quicker bowlers, and I think that's where you look for the all-round ability as a keeper, standing back and standing up. To the spinners. I just wonder if there was another chance.
I thought it just pitched in the rough and went towards slip. You have to wait and see. Yes, they did. It did pitch in the rough because there wasn't any excitement from the closing fielders or the bowler. Made an over, 3-4 for 5.
Whatever you buy online,
.340. VVS Lakshman is batting on 89. He's played a very sedate innings. Normally you see him get on with the game, keeps the scorers busy. But he realizes his responsibility today and realizes that he needs a big score.
Well, you get bowlers and you get batsmen who are fond of different venues around the globe. And for VVS Lakshman, this one certainly stands out at Eden Gardens. 42 test matches, 5 matches here at Eden Gardens. Very impressive average. And of course that best beginning of last year here against Australians to turn the test match on its head and end up winning it.
What an innings that was, Danny. He batted at number 6 in the first innings, got 50 odd, was promoted to number 3 in the second. What a lovely shot, lovely use of the wrist from VVS Lakshman. It's very, very strong in that area. That's a good save. But I'm sure the umpire is going to go to the third umpire straight away. He is.
Yes, Ahsoka de Silva, quite rightly, just wanted to query this. If the fielder had contact of the ball while his feet were over the rope. As you say, Manny, lovely timing and that wrist work again. Good stuff, clean as a whistle. Darren Ganga down there.
Parthiv Patel has shown a lot of character. He's good behind the stumps, and why Ian Bishop thinks that he's good behind the stumps, because when he's standing close to the stumps against the spinners, he's done a great job. Brilliant with the bat. He's shown lovely temperament. Just 17 years of age, and he's certainly a find for India. He's pulled this one away, didn't time it too well.
And the customary glare from a West Indian quick ball bowler, Darren Powell. He says, hang on a minute, son. What are you trying to get that one out of the closet from? The pull shot from little Parthiv Patel. Just the 3 runs from the 20 balls faced, Darren Powell, Parthiv Patel. But I think that is the big reason why everyone's so excited about Patel, is you just keep forgetting he is only 17 years of age.
A single here. 344 for 5, India.
Well, Manny, one just feels that coming up 2 o'clock local time, close to the Tier German, that it is going to be all over Red Rover for the West Indies. Just going to run out of time. The daylight is the factor here. Dusk. Tea, I say, not that far away. And it's all looking very ominous for the big D. Draw all over it.
Yes, it is. But it has been a good game of cricket. The West Indians coming back in this test match, losing the first 2 in 3.5 days each. Got a lead of 139 in the first innings. And then got 2 early wickets when the Indians were trying to rub off that lead at the score of 11. That is when the little champion came into play. At one stage it was 87 for 4, and then a fabulous partnership between VVS Lakshman and